Hey, my flamers, it's your massive flaming chicken, the huge flamer. I'm back. I know I've been on hiatus for like a month. So, as I said, I said that in some of my videos earlier, I was going to go on a month-long trip. I'm back. And we're going to start off, of course, with like the video I think a lot of people have been waiting for. PSA, is it worth it? Charizard edition. I don't have every Charizard. Obviously, that's kind of hard to do. I've already gone and bought and sold a few, mainly my ones that I've already PSA rated. Speaking of which, I have my PSA rating selection things. I started my PSA membership, so of course we're going to have that episode eventually of what I actually send in myself to have PSA rated, at least like the first 15. So I went with the platinum membership. That's a whole nother thing. To start off, of course, since we're so close to 50 subs, where we left off, but no one could decide. I've decided for them. If we hit 50 subs, one lucky winner will get this free Beedrill card. Yeah, it's not in perfect condition, and when I send it, I'll send it in a hard top sleeve, along with this standard penny sleeve. But it's a free Beedrill card once we hit 50 subs, and it's just we couldn't decide on what we wanted, guys. But, you know, we'll be able to move on with our next giveaway on our next thing of subs. So, yeah, help me hit 50 subs. We'll give this Beedrill to one lucky winner, and we'll go on from there. So moving into Charizard, I'm going to start with the things, these two that are already rated. I know it's kind of strange because this is PSA, is it worth it? But this kind of gets down to picking up cards already PSA rated. Now, sadly for me, because I'm always moving, if I could get into a location I know I'm not going to be moving for the next 20 plus years, I would probably hold on to these. As I've said on my other videos in regards to stock, which I am into the stock market now, but in regards to physical stock, you know, that's what Pokemon cards are to me. You know, they're a fun collectible, but at the same time, they're a physical stock. So I bought this. It's already gone up in price since I've bought it. It's already rated, so it's not going to lose its value. It will only go up in value. I'm on quick sale returns. So if I were you, you know, you're going to be in the same spot for the next 5, 10, 20 years. Buy some of these things, these new cards that come out, get them PSA rated, or buy them already PSA rated if you don't have a PSA like setup, and just kind of like save yourself the hassle. So I paid $20 for this, and I've got it listed for like 45, and I already have someone contacting me. So yeah, quick $25. eBay takes like 10%, so a quick $21, something like that. So yeah, and if I wanted to, I would just hold on to it, and you know, if I was going to be here for a while, 5, 10 years, and it's going to go up in value. We're actually going to have a card in the non-PSA rated cards that proves that point really easily, actually. But also, you know, it gets back to if you can pick this card up non-PSA rated. This one right now currently is worth getting PSA rated. So I think non-PSA rated, you can get them for like $10. So, you know, if you get them new out of a pack, they should be a 9 or 10. They shouldn't be below a 9 or a 10. And a 9 goes for $45 right now. A 10 goes for like 60 to 100, something like that. So, yeah, if you get it out of the pack, granted, you know, it's an older card, 2016. It's not like old as in like the Wizards of the Coast cards, but you probably won't be pulling it out of pack unless you go hunt down those packs. The Evolutions packs, and there's also the exact same card but from 2014 for Flash Fire, I believe, something like that. So yeah, he's worth it. You can pick him up cheaper than what he is. Same with this one. You know, picking these up, either holding on to them or just setting them at a higher price on your selling list, and eventually the time catches up and a price jumps for a specific card based on fandom. Mine here is specifically beat up. Once again, it comes down to if you pull it out of a pack, yeah, it's worth getting PSA rated as it came out of the pack, and it shouldn't be below a 9 or a 10. But granted, to make this one worth it, you have to hit a 10. These as 10s go for $60. Normal base cards go for like $5 to $7. So getting it PSA rated, worth it off the bat, and then also if you're gonna hold on to it, it's just going to eventually go up in value. I'm sorry, I really like how that hollow foil hits like that. Why am I wearing gloves? Because I'm probably going to pull some of these next few cards out And since they aren't PSA rated yet, I don't want to smudge them up at all. And I'm going to probably start doing this for my other cards. I'm probably going to start using protection instead of raw dogging my cards. So starting off, we're going to start with Detective Pikachu Holo. So as is, they go for about $12. Not bad. PSA 9, they go for 20, so that makes it not worth the PSA rate. However, if you hit PSA 10, it goes for 80. So your issue you run into is the difference between a 9 and a 10 is so insignificant. Oh, look at that. My finger is sadly breaking the protection. So I'm going to try and pull this out. Maybe I should do this without gloves or get better gloves or something, because I can't even get the dang thing out of the normal penny sleeve. I mean, oh, that's why. Someone put this in reverse style. I'm not a PSA rater. Personally, I don't see, and I'll have to take a real close look at it, like under a better light. I see some stuff, but it looks like it's like factory stuff up here in the, let's see if you can see it on camera. See that? Like the scales? I can't tell if that's intentional or it looks intentional. You can see it across the Charizard himself that he's got like some sort of scaling effect for his actual scales. So this is from the Detective Pikachu movie. Oh, there we go. See that itty bitty smudge? Let's see if the camera will focus on it. Not going to be a PSA 10, so mine is not worth it. To those who are new to PSA cards, yep, that white dot, there's a little itty bitty white there on the edge. Not going to be PSA 10, and that's the ridiculousness behind it, and this little white dot here. So mine is not worth sending in. I'm just going to have to sell it as is. Of course, as I said before, these things will just increase in value over time. In fact, the ones from the movie are expected to have a good return, because that movie actually did pretty well, and they did a pretty good job actually rendering the Pokemon, if they were to have like a real life sort of effect. So we're moving on. I don't know what to call this one. This is promo Charizard. Promo SM226. That's the code next to the promo. It's illustrated 2019 Pikachu project. Well, like the other people who do these channels, the art and all that stuff, the holo foils, everything behind it is really cool. I see some sort of lining up at the top on the edge, so it's not a 10. It's actually really hard to find information on this card when I was looking it up. I can only find stuff about a PSA 7, and it's $20 as a PSA 7. If you've learned anything from this channel, PSA 7 to PSA 8 can be quite the jump. It's all dependent multiplier for cards. And then PSA 8 to PSA 9 usually is always a jump no matter the card. And PSA 9 to PSA 10 is always ridiculous. I don't know what this would get though, so I see whiting on the edges. Mine's probably not worth it. I'll have to pull this out later. I'm sorry, just the gloves make it difficult, sadly. I'll have to get better gloves. Still really cool card, kind of like a pissed off Charizard, which kind of resembles the original Charizard back in the day from the show. So this is a dark Charizard. Sadly, not first edition, not holographic, but still another Charizard, dark Charizard. As is, I've got $14 to $20 is what he goes for. Whew. I can't remember if I wrote down these prices based off holo or non-holo, but what I got written down as PSA 8 goes for $180, which, if I had to guess, this one could probably get an 8. It's really hard to tell. I'll start getting a better understanding of what actually is what rating in the PSA world Based on what I send in, I see some whiting here on the corner, so it probably won't get an 8. So, but I gotta relook this up, to be honest. I'm sorry, guys. But PSA 8, I have written down 180, and PSA 10, 320, but I don't know if those numbers were based on hollow or not. But I have seen this card go for a lot more than that. So this was probably based on non-hollow. So yeah, I'd say PSA Dart Charizard, probably worth it if you need them in decent condition from a standard seller. Get them for 14, 20 bucks. And then PSA rate it, get a PSA 8, sell it for 180. You spend about $10 on that PSA rating and get a $180 card. So yeah, essentially make like a $150 profit, however you want to see it, you know. Okay, so these are some of the things that people like to see. And it's just two of the same. The condition is very similar. Base set, hollow Charizard, sadly not shadowless, sadly not first edition, but still real cool base set. Hollow Charizard. Actually, the one on my left is in better condition than my one on my right. There's a little itty bitty thing of I guess instead of whitening, you call it blackening at the top. And on the back, well, I guess the left one has some whitening on the back, and the right one, it's not a little bit. So base set hollows as is. Quick sells off the bat on eBay, they go for about 100 bucks a piece. You PSA rate them. 7s go for 335, 8 goes for 450 to 500, 9s go for 750. I didn't write down 10 because I know these definitely aren't a 10. They're definitely not a 9. They're probably not an 8, but they're more towards the 7 range, maybe lower than that. Of course, if you have PSA 10 Charizard, it's always worth it to PSA rate that. But Charizards inevitably base sets seem like they're always worth the PSA rate. I just saw PSA 2 Charizard literally going for 150 on its actual bid. It's a PSA 2 Charizard. That is a very poor condition Charizard going for 150. You can buy them as is for 100 sometimes. So, yeah, it's worth buying as is, getting a PSA rating if it's PSA 2, and they'll go for 150. So you should make 30 to 40 bucks depending on how you want to see it. As long as you have enough stack of them. This one was actually in better condition. This is a base set 2 Charizard. And he was in better condition than those two standards. Base set 2. And like some of this is just the holder it's in, some of the specs on the back. I wanted to pull some out, but the gloves made it too difficult. Base set 2 as is, actually $100, surprisingly. Now, let's see if it shows. It's supposed to be, you can see too, like it was mentioned in some of the other videos, where base set 2, the hollow foil is different than base set 1. So you can see how base set 1 has kind of like stars in it, while base set 2 kind of has more blotchy dots as its hollow foil pattern. In case you didn't know, it's just one little fact between base set 1s and base set 2s. However, there are some base set 1s that have the blotchy, and I think there's some base set 2s that have the stars. But mainly the difference is base set 2, besides the gigantic number 2, the hollows will actually have a different hollow foil pattern. Like the main coloring will be the same, but the dot effect will be different, a different shape. Oh, my bad. So as is 100, PSA 8, 350, a little bit less than base hollow. I was actually surprised at how close it is to base hollow. PSA 9, 700, once again, really close to standard base set hollow. I'm really surprised by that because these are a lot more common than the original Charizards. And then that's about it. So, yeah, once again, worth PSA rating. I didn't see what these go for PSA 2, but since everything else has been close to base set Charizard, I'm certain they also go for like 125, 150 as a PSA 2. So even getting a really damaged one PSA rating, you're still going to come out on top as long as you get these for 100 bucks or less. Sounds kind of difficult, but if you play your cards right, you can get these for 100 bucks. I think you can buy them straight off Amazon for 100 bucks. So don't fall for some of those people on eBay who are selling like their cards for just way more. I've been watching this one dude in Marketplace. He's selling like a normal base set Charizard with a ton of whiting on the back for $450, saying super rare. He's either he's ignorant or he's purposely trying to play the market, which I actually think it's that one specifically, the second part. So this was another new pick-me-up. The dude sold it me in a lot beefier case. It's a magnetic case. Mine, the one he sold me, truly is in mint to near mint. When I picked it up, just, you know, when I come to pick up cards that already have high-end prices and someone tells me it's supposed to be in mint to near mint, I bring my already rated PSA 8 Magneton Holo to use as an example, like I've said in my other videos to do, to figure out your PSA rating. So this is really the main one, actually, why I wanted the gloves. And this one I will try and pull out for y'all. Hold on, let me see if I can do it a little bit easier off camera. So if you don't know, like I didn't know at first, just I was buying a lot of cards, and the dude had his lot priced really high, and I looked through it and I didn't understand why he had it priced so high. So I contacted him because I was interested in the lot, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in your lot, but is your price correct? Your price seems really high. And he's like, no, that's standard price, man. That's normal price. And I go, well, what's making it so high? He goes, the Charizard alone goes for $700, $800. And I looked it up and I was like, wow, you're right. I didn't know this Charizard was worth that much. I hadn't even heard that much about him. I was following like the Rainbow Charizards were worth a lot, and like some other specific Charizards, but this Charizard is worth quite a bit. So as is, they go for $650 to $700. And like that's literally as is. I was taking the word for it from like people off eBay, and I've been watching him actual sales for this Charizard. So it's hard to say it's worth it, because here's the thing. PSA 9s go for $900 to $1,000. Your issue is this card has so much holo on it that it can easily lower the PSA rating. This holo foil is easy to damage. On top of that, even if you didn't damage it, PSA 9 is just a really hard rating to get. It just is. That's just how it goes. There's a chance you just have the wrong grader and you don't get your PSA 9. PSA 8, I didn't even bother looking up, but I'm certain it goes for less than the as-is sale. So, like, you don't want to send it in if you know you're not going to get a PSA 9. So I'm probably going to sell mine as is. The crazy part is, like I was saying earlier, Charizards can just jump in price. Cards can just jump in price, but specifically Charizards can. This card was going for like $30-$40, then it was going for $200, and then it went from $200 to $400, from $400 to $600, $600 to $700, as is. So, but like the big kahuna is PSA 10. PSA 10, now these are just asking prices, but I'm certain they're fairly accurate. They go between $1,800 and $3,000. The reason why I say I think that's fairly accurate is because I saw some people asking $7,000 to $10,000, which maybe down the road, PSA 10, the way this card is trending in price, it may actually go for $7,000, $10,000, maybe even $20,000 PSA 10. And then one funny little note that I noticed is actually the BGS version, the bracket grading system version, is actually the one that's selling really high. It's the one that people are going to for their super high ends of this. Like, they'll have your PSA 9s and below, but like when people think they're going to have a 10, they seem to send it to the BGS for it. It was really hard to actually find, well, not hard, but like it was way more common to find people with this graded as a 10 under BGS. I don't know. I've heard rumors that BGS will grade more lightly than PSA, but like I saw several like BGS gold labels, BGS black labels, 10s. Like, I know the labels have a different meaning for BGS, but like I know there's a lot of people send this card in for BGS and it gets a 10. I don't have a BGS setup. I may not get this PSA rated, and if I can just send one card into BGS, it would be this card, because that seems to be the trend, and I've heard rumors that BGS tends to grade more favorable for you. So yeah, I'm sorry this video was longer than usual. I try and keep these down to 10 minutes, 5 minutes if I'm really good, but just putting it back out there. Help me hit 50 subs. We'll give this card away to one person as I've said before in my previous videos, as we increase in subs, we'll increase the value of our prizes that we give away. And then also, before I close out, since I came back, real big good job to Vintage Pokemon Hunter Brothers, who went from like, I think when I left, he was at like 670 subs, and now he's at like 953, maybe 980 now. Hey, if you aren't subbed to him and you're on my channel, actually take some time, go to Pokemon Vintage Hunter Brothers and help him hit 1,000 subs, man. And he's going to do a giveaway. And also, he just does a really good job. If you're into someone who literally just is genuinely into Pokemon, isn't screaming at the mic, has some funny ideas behind how he presents, like the way he does the Pokemon cards, check out his channel and give him a sub, man. He does a real good job. And that's PSA Is It Worth It Charizard. Thanks.